Hi, welcome to Trending Now. It's August 25th, 2014. This is episode 6.
I'm Rocco Salata,
I'm Alexander Maravilla.
and this is Trending Now, where we're taking a look at the Indiegogo films that are trending now, and with a Canada type of filter.
So first up, we got a movie called The Last King. This is about, takes place in, it jumps all over the place. Basically, it's about the Kohinoor diamond. They used to belong to the last king of Punjab, and ended up on Queen Victoria's crown.
An interesting story, yeah.
And one of his descendants wants it back.
Yeah, it had to do with the Sikhs. The Sikhs had this diamond that was really important to them, and basically, director Jeff Radout, writer-producer Steve Niger, and producer Sabina Boonin took this story that was real important to the Steve Niger, because he's like of that heritage. This is like important to him. He comes back from that thing, and basically he wanted to tell the story that goes through what they said, as they describe it. They say it's a modern day chase of the historical Kohinoor diamond that belonged to the last great king of Punjab. Now, this precious Kohinoor diamond belonged to the king of Punjab and was stolen by the British 150 years ago. And now the descendants of the Maharaja Ranjit Singh, they want it back. Yeah. So this film is partly based on true events, but you can see it's a little departure. You can see on in their what they've shown so far.
Yeah, it's like a strange mix of a war movie mixed with like a heist movie, which then turns into a chase where this guy's running away with the diamond and they're chasing him trying to find it.
And there's a detective doing like an interrogation and
so it's pretty crazy. But this is the second campaign for this movie. The last one was in August of 2013, and they raised about $1,000. Basically, 1,005, and they were looking for 175,000.
Wow.
Apparently, they've got a budget of $1 million, and they managed to raise 700,000 of their own money. But then somehow they couldn't raise more than 1,000 on here. But it seems to me like they've put most of their efforts on the first fundraising campaign, like the real funds, and not much on Indiegogo. And even this campaign is they just copied and pasted all the information, all the same typos are there and everything. And it's the same thing again. They haven't made that much money.
Well, they're looking to, like, I think this campaign is like they said they're almost done, and they're looking for like the audio, and they wanted to do like the final touches, the sweetening, and the I don't know if they said special effects, but they did they did say that for sure audio and maybe editing.
So at first they need 300,000, then they started looking for 175,000, and now they're down to 20,000. So I don't know what's going on here. They keep cutting their money and trying to cut corners in order to get the thing done, or what? But over the past year, they've actually managed to produce it. They finished filming the whole thing, and they had this epic fight sequence that they had, this epic battle that they had uploaded the first time, and it looked kind of mixed. Like there were a lot of extras. They did some really good kind of chase scenes and everything, but it all looked cheap. It all looked really cheap and pretty bad. And you could tell that it was due to bad green screen effects and just bad CGI. And now in the new campaign video, they have some of shots from the same scene that they shot back then that look considerably better. So they've already improved the effects.
Yeah, I see some slashing. Like they had like the Sikhs run up, and a lot of these like slashing with their swords, and then they had them like jumping and like the jump and spin towards the camera.
The effects are the main problem here. Everything seems to be out of sync. Like their guys get shot and then the bullet hole happens like a fraction of a second later, or the other way around. But it looks like if they had better graphics artists, if they had better special effects, they could fix all of that. The actual footage itself that doesn't involve special effects, I call them the martial arts stuff or the modern day stuff looks considerably better.
The action.
So there's a lot of stuff going there
Yeah,
on there.
modern.
It looks like it's a bunch of inexperienced people trying to make the movie bigger than they've ever done before.
Yeah.
And they're spending all the money on getting actors and getting set pieces and getting action sequences done. And then they're trying to do the actual shooting of the sequences as cheaply as possible so they can have more money for more actors.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're having mixed results, but it seems like they're succeeding.
Yeah, I mean, it is an interesting story. I mean, they did find something like that would be curious or interesting for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, it is based on on true events. They say. I mean, because they have this diamond that that just its name alone sounds mysterious.
Yeah.
And then they do have things that are real, people that can identify with, because they say like once this diamond, this jewel was stolen, it was taken back to England and it was recut, and it ended up being part of Queen Victoria's crown, like a part of her crown jewels.
Yeah.
So there's things that people might have visited the crown jewels, they might have seen these different things, and for them they took advantage of this and they said, okay, not only is this real piece that you can see, and this jewel, it's in England and part of the Queen Victoria's deal, but like they say, it's the symbol of the British dominance in India, and they get all this lore.
That was the point of putting it on the crown,
Yeah, and then because it was that, they took advantage, and now this whole story, and in layers and jumping back through times, and so.
Yeah, so it's got like elements of a revenge story too.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know. They've progressed fairly well so far in the past year. It seems to be getting better and better. They're definitely committed to making it as good as they can.
Yeah, they're sticking with it too, because like they said, they haven't abandoned this for other projects. So hopefully they'll take it. They'll get the money they need, or they'll get the resources, and they'll finish it and they'll make it look good. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever happens, it'll be ambitious at least. So.
Yeah, and then some of the perks they're giving away for this thing too, as they come closer, is if you do donate, you can get invited to the wrap party. They've got official T-shirts that they made up, and then they can also not only get the wrap party, but you can attend the premiere screening. Yeah,
but that's gonna cost you $1,000. So there's no way to get a copy of the movie, basically. In the first campaign, they want you to give them $200 for a DVD of the movie, which doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
And now that option is not even on the table.
Yeah.
But they're not. I mean, they haven't had that many submissions, so it doesn't. I don't know. Like it looks like they're not putting that much effort into this campaign, and I've got other things to worry about. This is just an afterthought, and they need to put more work into it, or otherwise they're not gonna raise a significant amount of money. They didn't last time. They're not doing that well this time. And it looks like they've got a good product. So it looks like, and if what they say is true, that they have managed to raise $700,000, and they know how to raise money. And they're just not trying.
Well, so even if this does look like an afterthought, if, like you say, if they do, more power to them. I mean, they've got a decent story, they've made good progress. So so hopefully they'll get their act together and they'll edit this properly, put in the effects, and put in the same time, if they're asking for the money, give it to the campaign and do a good job with it.
For now it looks good, it just needs extra polish, essentially.
Okay, up next we've got a short film called To Catch a Rabbit, and it's the first Newfoundland action film, they're calling it, which is interesting. It's a short, but they want to take it to be like 112 minutes, I think. So it's a short, but it's like maybe like a feature.
I don't think it's technically a short. I think it's long enough to qualify as a feature.
Anything over 90 minutes, right? Yeah. So they call themselves that. It's from this group, this team. Writer-director Chris Rendell, and it's starring Nathan Cull, Desmond Martin, and Kenneth Baker.
Yeah, I think it's actually 72 minutes. I'm not sure if that's definitely not short enough to qualify as a short. It might not be long enough to qualify as a feature, so I'm not sure what they call something like that. But it happens once in a while, not very often. It's like an odd format. But the description for this is kind of vague. They say the tagline is mercenaries versus mafia, and it's basically these two guys come back from the war, and they become hired guns, and they get a job with a mysterious client that goes bad and leads to adventures, which then happen, which we then see. in this movie.
Yeah, action, suspense, betrayal.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I assume the mysterious stranger has something to do with the mafia because they mentioned that at some other point.
Yeah.
But other than that, they don't really say anything. There's no video. There's no links to anything. Their website is under construction. There's not really any information about who these guys are.
Yeah, they call themselves Frugal Fruit Studios,
Yeah.
and they say they're a Canadian-based indie film studio, and they're formed by these same guys who not only like write, produce, but are
Yeah.
also acting in it.
Yeah.
The same guys, Chris Rendell, Nathan Cull, Ryan Frost. They're all from Newfoundland and part of Canada,
Yeah.
and they're pushing that as a different thing. I mean, there's been a lot of TV shows there, like the Republic of Doyle and all these other deals. But yeah, so they said they're a young, ambitious company, and they got a goal,
Yeah.
and their goal is to make engaging films that challenge, explore, and push the boundaries of filmmaking.
Yeah, but I mean, so they've got, from what you can tell, they've got a diverse team of like artists and whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much experience these guys are, but they're pretty diverse. They've got actors. They've even got musicians who they're gonna make their own score and
Yeah,
music and
original
everything.
scores. Yeah.
But they still need some help with the
Yes.
sound. But there's not really any info here. I mean, they tell us they want to make movies, but they're not trying to sell us on anything. They show a couple of low quality screenshots from what they've shot so far, and they look okay, but the quality is low, so it's hard to see much.
Yeah, they're
It
just,
looks interesting.
Yeah, they're starting out. They are ambitious. They say this is supposed to be the first of like 2 or 3 films,
Yeah.
and I guess they're slowly building. Like maybe they're
Yeah.
it's like they've rushed it a bit. Like they put all this stuff online, but slowly they'll start filling it in as they're doing
Hopefully.
it, and hopefully, yeah.
So far, they've only raised $1. So I don't know. I think maybe someone felt sorry for them and threw them a bone or something. But
Yeah.
it just, or they pledged themselves $1 to make it. You know, like when you
No.
put a coin in the tip jar.
That's cruel. That's cruel.
Well, I mean,
The priming the well.
these guys look like they're organized. They look
Yeah.
like they're very group of
Yes.
people. They look like they've got a goal, but
Yeah.
they need to sell us on the actual movie.
Yeah, I
because
think they'll
they're not-
get there.
That's
I'm
what
hoping.
they're advertising.
Yeah, I'm
It's just-
hoping.
it's not that they're not worthy of the help. It's just they're not giving us anything to make a decision for, so we don't know what
Yeah.
we're buying into.
Yeah, I mean, but if they do like fulfill their own prophecy there, if they
Yeah.
do live up to their expectation and they make this film and they get this one going and they finish their website and
Yeah.
they finish all these things, because they got to think to YouTube, like a link to YouTube and a link to their website.
Yeah.
And then their YouTube thing goes back to or their website says, look at our campaign on Indiegogo. So everything is like back to back to the first thing. But yeah, if they fill these things in, and it says like it's a bit ambitious, but there's a team of them. So if they
Yeah.
all pull together, they make this one, and then this one turns out to be halfway decent, then they can use this one to get their other ones done. And since they have this like idea of like being a studio of like Frugal Fruit
Yeah.
Studios, then yeah, they could build their studio off of this first film. And,
Yeah, of course, eventually.
Yeah.
But right now they need help now.
Yes.
So they need to start concentrating on more like immediate things.
Yeah, and then for
And
now,
it's probably just giving the crowd information. That's probably it. Like if they've got footage, as you can see from
Yeah.
the screenshots, all they have to do is show it.
yes, share that footage with the people a little bit more and more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they are already to the point where they're offering perks and stuff, so they do have dates in mind when this is going to be done.
Yeah.
They do have like a roadmap, but you're right, they do need to show more of this stuff. And I mean, because they're already offering, they say like they're offering a signed poster, an HD copy with like extras like commentary.
Yeah.
So they've got like they're recording. I mean, like they're doing behind the scenes, they're doing
Yeah.
commentaries, or they're doing all this stuff, but none of it is like to be seen.
Yeah, they're asking for $65 to get a copy of the movie. So imagine that.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then you might, what's the other one? A T-shirt and a producer credit.
Yeah.
So maybe you can be an honorary member of the Frugal Fruit Studios.
Maybe, I don't know. It's not so much that it's a hard sell, is that there doesn't seem like they are selling anything
Yet.
yet.
Yeah.
Well, they're running out of time
Wow.
for this campaign.
Yeah. Yeah, but fingers crossed for them. Hopefully they'll do a good job and they'll bring a lot more. So
Yeah.
all this stuff will come into fruition.
Yeah, hopefully. So next up we have a Foresight. It's actually It's a student project from Vancouver Film School. It's a final project. It's a short film. It's a science fiction film. This guy, the student name is Al-Muhannad Al-Kadam, and he's got a bunch of other students, classmates who are producing this. Like, I mean, they mentioned this girl, Sinead Dayton of Flynn and stuff like that. And they have a campaign video where they introduce everybody, but there's not much footage. But
it's an interesting campaign.
The premise is pretty interesting, yeah.
Yeah. Well, they say that time is not linear, and it's set in a not too distant future. That's a dystopian future. And this film, Foresight, it follows the story of a guy named John, a man that's been blind his whole life.
Yeah.
And then he undergoes, because it's future, black market eye surgery to gain back his sight. So when he wakes up from the surgery, the first thing that John sees, and he sees for the first time in his life, and the first thing that he sees isn't what he expects to see, but instead he sees like a vision, he sees like a foretelling of a dark future to come.
Yeah.
So it's not the face of his beautiful wife, but instead a devastating glimpse into the dark future.
Yeah. So the movie starts apparently in a dystopian future and already in a dark future, and this guy sees an even darker future. That's the future of this future, somewhere further on down the line.
Like if the present were the future.
Yeah, he's like
in the future.
he's the blind seer essentially.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. But other than that, there's not really anything here. I mean, they haven't started producing it, of course, because they haven't started shooting yet. It's just a 12-minute movie. But the school seems to be behind them. They've got an endorsement letter from Michael Robinson, who's actually a comedian. He's in the Vancouver Theatre Sports League. So he's fairly popular in Vancouver, and he's worked for the BBC before. He's got a bunch of awards and stuff. So at least he knows what he's doing. But I mean, this is like a science fiction drama. It's not really his forte, which probably means, I don't know. He says he's really impressed with it. It probably means they're getting even people who aren't really into science fiction interested in it. So apparently the story's really good.
Yeah.
But we don't have any way of knowing what it's going to look like. They've done a couple of camera tests and they've uploaded some pictures and they look pretty good. But
you can imagine that it's going to be like a lot of the different stuff, like Twilight Zone or Outer Limits or some of these type of things. You get a feel because it is science fiction and it talks about. There have been other movies, right? Like the At First Sight and all these different about guys getting new eyes and operations and seeing things and. Yeah, so I think it's in the spirit of those, like combining the stuff that we're familiar with in the eyesight surgeries and seeing things and future, like in visions of the future.
Yeah.
So I'm imagining too, it's like a dark future, but probably he's probably going to be a hero now that he's got this vision.
Yeah.
He's probably seen something, and then he gets the opportunity to be on a journey to stop that dark future from happening. Because he gets, like you said, he's a seer. So he gets to foresee and
it's all about what does he do with the power now. But since these guys are in a film school, they get access to the school's equipment. That's probably one of the reasons they're looking for such little money, because they already have a budget. You do get a budget as part of your final project. They have the equipment taken care of. They have the crew and everything. So they just need extra funding for the other stuff that the school doesn't cover. And the school does have fairly good equipment. They've got Red cameras. They shoot on film too if they want to do that. They put out a lot of high quality productions as student projects. So there's a lot of history there. Neil Blomkamp started his career at Vancouver Film School. There was an instance of this happening before, where Hannah, for example, was a student project. It was a final script written by a writing student, and they've got it produced, and they got Kate Blanchett and Saoirse Ronan to be in it. So the school does back people when they find something exceptional. So I don't know. It's possible this is gonna go somewhere. It's probably gonna end up at festivals or something. But for now, there's no way to tell.
Yeah, and then if it does, you're right. It is something that. If positioned properly, they get it into a festival, and if it's done, people could look at it and say, "Hey, this is interesting." See something in it that they like, and then it could give these people if it's got a good look, the DOP, and if it's got like good direction and pacing and stuff, even the director. So any one of this team of students, especially the director, I always think the director gets the best advantage when it comes to a short. I think they get a lot of the glory and a lot of, especially if they wrote and directed or something like that. But yeah, it puts them in a good position with the help of the Vancouver Film School to get their next project made or to get signed to direct something bigger, or it's real good for them. It's a good opportunity.
Yeah. So we'll see. The only thing is they want $50 for a copy of the movie. Considering it's a film school, you could probably have several opportunities to see it for cheaper. And they might even release it for free.
Well, they've got posters and T-shirts and a Blu-ray. Not a lot of people go that far for something like shorts and stuff like that. But they are offering a Blu-ray, and because it is a film school and they're used to doing stuff like this, they got a behind the scenes and a making of. So
well,
it's just like
the school prints their school projects on Blu-ray anyway.
Right. But how many other people do behind the scenes and making of all in the same place, all in the same?
A lot of people, I guess, but.
Well, at Vancouver Film School, they can cover all of that stuff, like professionally.
Oh, I thought you meant on Indiegogo. On Indiegogo, it makes sense that they would be offering that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But the school itself, though, I mean, But and then so they're a team. They're in Vancouver. They call themselves a team of culturally diverse student crew from Vancouver. At the Vancouver Film School, and they're trying to bring all of their unique experiences and their background talents to this project. So more power to them. Hopefully this works out and gives some of them some good opportunities.
Yeah, good luck. It looks pretty interesting, and it'll get made either way. Right? It's just a matter of how good they can make it look.
So this one's just a matter of time before we actually get to see it. Yeah.
So next up we have Captive Love. So another one. This is also a short film. Kind of exploring a bit of Stockholm Syndrome.
A little bit, yeah. It's directed by a guy named Zach Birnbaum. Written, produced by team Richard Young and Christina Esposito. Christina Esposito, not only her, actually Richard Young, they actually wrote this project based on what they saw, like some articles they saw on
the original story of the Stockholm Syndrome.
But they saw some article that happened more recently about this girl who was kidnapped and stuff, and then was writing letters to her captor in prison and stuff. So more close to this story. But it stars, and this movie stars a couple midline, or some people that might be of note. There's a girl named Jennifer Dale, a guy named Art Hindle, Christina Esposito herself, Douglas Nyback, Richard Young, Brittany Adams, and Farah Marani. Brittany Adams, I think, is does some stuff here in Canada. She was
they all get work, but they've got a professional cast and stuff. They do have a fairly good cast. It's an odd story though. Basically, this girl has been sending letters to this guy in jail who had kidnapped her a while back doing an armed robbery, and they're falling in love, and they meet for a date as soon as he gets released, and she's trying to decide if she wants to actually date this guy or just move on. So it's kind of odd, but they say that the whole movie revolves around this single scene where they meet, so they shoot it as a single scene, and then they intersperse it with little flashbacks of the story where we get to figure out what happened in the past, and you see, the actual hostage taking at first.
Yeah, they're trying to see the perspective too. Is it is Stockholm Syndrome, but from a female perspective. So I guess they try to give that slant, from her side. They said they talk about it while intense emotional bonds are often forgotten, where they're often forged between captor and the captives that they have hostage in the hostage situations. This one is supposed to explore the evolution of these type of bonds, and then whether these type of bonds of when somebody holds somebody captive, if it could actually really become love, actually, not just kind of like a fantasy or an illusion.
Yeah, they're just trying to look more at the complexities behind it and trying not to keep it too simple. But other than that, it's hard to tell where they're going. There's no footage or anything. They've got this campaign where they say they've got an editor and they're praising him and everything, but all the campaign videos have horrible sound issues. So there's something else going on there. I don't know what's going to happen with the production. It looks like they might still be hiring people. Not sure what's going on. There is a lot for an audience to be interested here,
Yeah.
but
Well, there's like they do have some clues. Like I said, it was like this guy does like a robbery of some sort, right?
Yeah.
So he's in jail for an armed robbery. She was one of his hostages. When he gets released, she decides to have dinner with him because after all this, right? So there is a dinner that you talked about, the scene that rotates around this, like the focus. And then it's over the course of the meal, they begin to reminisce. So thinking back, that's where all those flashbacks come in and stuff. Then that's the thing, it sets up, because they're using the flashbacks of the crime and they're giving you more bits and pieces of the puzzle. So even though it's still, which is a smart thing to do actually when you're shooting something, have it take place at a table, so you have a conversation. It could be like two people, four people, whatever, but you have it all take place. It's really simple. You record the conversation, and then from there, you just get the bits and pieces you need that you can afford to shoot. So, I mean, you're tied in. Anytime something's too expensive or out of budget, you cut back to the table and I'm talking. So that's crafty. That's a smart way of doing that. But yeah, so in the end, they say like while she's talking and they're having this conversation and they're cutting back, it gets to the point where this main character Sonia. She must make a choice to either say goodbye to this guy Darren forever, or leave the life that she's built and take off with him. To be with him. So.
Yeah. So the script itself has already got some good buzz anyway. It's won a scripting award already at I think it was the Real World Film Festival.
Yeah, it was featured as an emerging, like Christina and Richard, both of them, the writers, two of the writers, they were featured as an emerging 20 filmmakers at the Real World Festival. The Real World Film Festival, the Indie Film Lounge with the script, or is that all the same thing? The Real World Film Festivals.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Okay, so it's the Real World Film Festivals Indie Film Lounge that they won the script for, and their film itself that they did before was a finalist in the Real Asian Film Festivals. So you think you can pitch competition.
Yeah, it's a pitch competition.
Yeah, so they pitched it, people liked it, and it got all the way through. And they became a finalist for the Cale Chernin Award.
Yeah.
So that's their awards, yeah.
Yeah. Either way, it seems to be having some buzz. I mean, it's not like they need some crazy special effects sequences or anything. It's all very simple storytelling.
Yeah.
It's all to do with the acting, and which is why they spent all this. They put all this effort in getting a good cast.
Yeah. Plus they got some funding too. They received partial funding from London's Art Council.
Yeah.
So that's here in Ontario.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and they're partnering with a women's shelter in there too. So I mean, they've already got the ball rolling. So it's just a matter of seeing what happens next.
Yeah.
They're not asking for too much money, but so far they've only raised 665. I don't know if that's some sort of sign or something. But 665 is what they have so far. But they want $50 for the movie for a short film. I'm not
to donate
sure
for
about
that.
Yeah,
It's probably because of the buzz and because of the actors. They're confident that with what they've got so far, with their name, their prizes, and all that type of stuff, that's reasonable for anybody who wants to, get involved.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems interesting. It's definitely something to look out for.
Yeah,
but it's just lack of information. It's hard to tell whether you should commit to it or not.
Well, they show some shit. Yeah, they'll show some scenes eventually. Like I have a feeling that this one here will either they'll reinvent the campaign or they'll tweak it before it runs out. They'll do something when the time comes, and because they got a list of perks too that seems kind of interesting. They also got behind the scenes. They got tickets to the premiere. There's dinners with the creators, a set visit. And then for people who give more money, they're even offering up executive producer credits. Yeah. And I think some people already picked some of these. Some of these are already showed as a two sold so they do have in the different perks. People have picked multiple copies of the bigger ones.
And unlike the other three campaigns, these guys have actually been updating the campaign regularly, so there's probably going to be more stuff posted.
Yeah.
But for now, I saw just announcements, a couple of interviews, so we'll see.
Yeah, it can only get better from here.
Yeah. But I think that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. If you have any feedback, just remember leave it in the comment and like, comment, and subscribe if you like what you see.
And so once again, I'm Rocco
I'm
Salata,
Alexander Maradin.
and this
Thank you
was
for
Trending Now. Thanks for watching.
watching.